Good day, boys and girls. Coach Troy Brown here, aka the Governor. Today we are at the gym. No one's here. We've got the whole gym to ourselves. That's fun. That's playtime. Toys R Us for adults. Today we're going to do updated Governor back workout, right? Back centric hypertrophy. We're also going to show you a little bit of warming up what I do now, right? This is going to be like fly on the wall type of thing. This isn't what I used to do 20 years ago. Obviously, you've got to remember, a lot of former pro bodybuilders have a lot of wear and tear. So now we're being very strategic and careful with the exercises that we're using in the gym. The goal for me now is to not get injured. So I want to stimulate muscle. I want to challenge the muscle and not the ego. Let's get to work. Let's warm up. Let's get in the zone. Let's get out of our head and into our body, and let's challenge the muscle. Let's do this. This is a nice piece of kit here. This is I use now for straight arm pull down. It's a long attachment. The beauty of it, it has two different handle attachments. Being that I'm a narrow clavicle type of guy, I do prefer the wide position, and what I like is I just rest my hands on there. Now what I want to do is get my arm right past here to challenge that lat. First thing I do, I set myself up, I get stable, I brace my trunk, right? Most men or women, what I'm seeing them do in the gym is they pull and they round the back, right? And they round, right? And then I'll ask them, what muscle are you working? And then they'll go, I don't know, right? You got to know what muscle you're working. We're going for the lat, right? The lat inserts on the humerus and then it wraps around and attaches to the thoracic spine and lumbar spine. All right, here we go. Now I'm using my abs at the same time. I'm bracing trunk, and that's a skill on its own. Do a nice isometric on the last one, just to create more neuromuscular efficiency. Contract and release, and I'll rest for about 90 seconds. When you do a straight arm pull down, one thing you can start thinking about is, watch me, I drop my shoulders down. That means scapular depression, and as soon as I do that, my lats engage and I keep my scapula down, right? Here we go. Now I'm going to make this harder. I'm going to kneel down, right? It just forces me to stabilize more. All right, last set. Most prevalent is the last set. It's the Governor set. It's the last set. Here we go. And I go 6 seconds. Man, now I'm warm. I am warm now. So I'm still working on that lat piece, all right, the latissimus dorsi. One thing to think about, if you do have this gym, this movement at home or at your home gym, what I find is that if you go close in and you pull it, right, the elbow flares, right? That means it's going to go elsewhere. We want it to go to the lat. So what we're going to do is get the seat position first. This is all the details. All these things matter. Right, ask yourself before you lift, are you set up right? Is everything where it needs to be? So being a shorter guy, 5'6", I like to have my pec minor, my upper chest, just hanging over the top, right? Now, as I mentioned earlier, I don't want to go inside. I want to make sure that the handle's on the outside. All right, I treat my hands as hooks, so my thumb is not engaged. That feels for me less bicep activation. One arm's going to be lengthened while the other arm's working. So this arm's in an isometric lengthening contraction. So even though the muscle's lengthening, the muscle is also contracting, and I'm just driving elbow, right? I'm keeping my elbow tucked. Sometimes I'll hang out for a little bit, make it harder, then go, right? Make stuff harder. That's what hypertrophy is. It's not making things efficient, it's making things inefficient. I want to feel that lat stretch, hence why the biceps facing up. That makes sure that my lat is fully lengthened, and then I drive and pull. When I pull this weight, right, and the elbow goes tight, it feels as though the elbow is going towards the spine. I'm going to go bent over rows. I would normally use dumbbells, but because we got the nice equipment here, I'm going to use this machine, this bad boy. This is the NewTek, South Korean company. Love their pieces. There's three main positions for a single arm row or using this machine, right? So the first one It's called a staggered stance. Right, you can do this with the dumbbell. Right, it's nice, gives you nice, decent stability, and you row. Right, I like that. The conventional way, which is, well, we always row back in the day, heavy dumbbell. This would be called a conventional stance. And this allows me to lift more weight. The problem is, there's a lot of moving and rotation, right? There. You build muscle doing it, but it could cause dysfunction because too many joints are moving. My all-time favorite is this one. Check this one out. I'm going to lift the load on my right hand, but also have my right leg in front. So I'm working on the same side. This left hand is important. This hand's going to give me stability. So I've got stability through the ground, stability with the left hand. Right, I'm going to get everything lined up. Now, when I row for my lat, the same thing applies. No daylight between the arm and the lat, right? No daylight between the arm and the lat. Look at my hand grip. No thumb, less bicep activation. Treat your hand as hooks, and we go. And I'm driving tension down on this leg. Oh man, the stretch on that and the contraction is bellissimo. All right, left arm. So, set up, stabilize, brace, trunk, commence. Before you quantify, make a weight heavier, you first, my friend, have to qualify. What do the reps look like? So before you go up in load, make sure you can lift the light one properly. So one thing I like about back training is when I see guys in the gym and girls is they kind of use a thumbless grip. Now, you would think that fingers create grip. They do, right? But when it comes to muscle building and hypertrophy, the less bicep recruitment you can do in a one-arm row or a torture row like this, right, by NewTek, the more lat recruitment you'll get. You ever see guys that got big arms and they have a small back? It's because probably their arms are taking a lot of the load. So my theory is, why not pretend that you're Captain Hook, right? And then treat your arm and your hand and your grip as a hook, which subconsciously allows you to think that you're using less brachioradialis, less bicep brachii, and you're able to challenge that lat so much more as opposed to using the whole hand. If I'm doing a one-arm dumbbell row, I prefer to do it off a rack. Just done it that way, right? Apples and oranges, your preference. I'm gonna actually stay on my left arm and keep my left leg on the same position. Now, it's harder for me to rotate due to the foot position, right? Here's another cue. Hold the front of the dumbbell, because what it does, it gets you to go out by holding the front. It allows you to get more lengthening in the lat. I'm in the gym all day, and I'm 99.9% of the people in the gym just don't use it properly. And I'm like, well, wouldn't you want to know how to use it properly? That's why I don't understand, like, why people don't hire coaches. Like, you come to the gym, what do you want to maximize everything you do? But they don't. They just come in the gym and they think, I think it's going to the right muscle, but they don't know for sure. And then I'll ask them, where do you feel that? I don't know. Where are you supposed to feel it? I don't know. All right, seated row. Exercise 4. This is a funny one. All right, here's what most people are doing. I'm using the neutral grip here, right? Feet are up. All right, there's two problems here. When I pull, right, I'm just pulling. Right. Problem is, my feet are really high up, which is forcing me to pull like that, which feels as though it's going to my traps. So what I think about doing now is, if I want to intelligently get my lats involved, right, I'm going to bring my feet down further. Stay with me. Soft knee. Right, that is so much better. Right, now I'm going to pull. Now the problem now, what's the second problem? I'm leaning back. Right, I think about back training now, not 20 years ago, that I'm gonna lean slightly forward, then pull. That got dramatically harder. One of the reasons why I think I've got bad shoulders is due to using bars like this, and it causes me, and I'm not saying it's bad for everybody, right? It causes me, again, look at my shoulders. I'm doing this, I'm internally rotated. Would it make sense if a person's got dodgy shoulders to maybe use a bigger handle position where they can get like here? So what could we do in this situation? Check this out. Then let's take a bigger handle, right? I can do it this way, or I can face it up, whatever way you want. Either way, this just gives me more chance to do that. That's a better position, especially for someone that has maybe niggling shoulders or pinchy shoulders. Right, let's see what that looks like. Set it up, soft knee, right, lean slightly forward. I'm gonna go to that lat again. I am gonna hit a lot more mid back here, like mid-lower traps, rhomboids. Oh yeah, big difference. When you're at the gym, right, you see these machines, you're about to train back. One thing I want you to do, before you jump on the exercise, look what the seat's doing. You're probably thinking, what's he talking about? Well, you see this machine here, you see it goes down, it's got a little incline here, and this also has a little incline on it. Follow me, look at this next machine. This is another back piece. Look at this. It's going down again, right? Look at this, right? It's got another incline on it, right? Why? Why do these machines have that? Well, it's telling you something. It's telling you that Technogym, who designed it, Italian made, they're telling you, because of the incline on the angle of the seat, they're telling you not to lean back, right? Again, I see too many people in the gym, and I can't judge you because I don't know what your goals are, but I would assume your goal is to build muscle. So they pile on 4 plates, 4 45s, they grab hold of the handle and they go yank, yank, right? You're supposed to be, here's the tip, drop the weight, take the thumb out, right? And then think about pull towards, right? Not away. That one cue can light up your back like a Christmas tree. I got asked the other day, why do I do rear delts on back day? Well, it's part of the back musculature. A bit more. Someone that's got long wingspan, they would need to pull the seat back if you've got longer arms. Someone's got shorter arms, pull it in, right? Here's another cue. When I grab this handle, does my wrist line up with the rear delt, right? Or am I above it because the seat's too high, or am I too low? That's important to know, right? So ask yourself, before you perform the movement and you initiate, is the hand or the wrist lining up with the rear delt? I could probably go, it's actually pretty good, right? I'm gonna show you one arm, what I do now. I like single arms on these because I feel like as though there's less chance for me to use my trap. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my hand on the outside, right? Now, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it with a neutral shoulder, stay with me, and drive out. Or you can make it way harder and protract the shoulder, which means pull forward. As a coach and as an athlete, back day doesn't feel complete without doing some type of bent over exercise. Bent over rows, right, Smith machine, very direct. First thing I do is I take my hands, there's the knurling, this little line's called the knurling. So I'm gonna go slightly wider than the knurling. For me, I'm gonna go about shoulder width. Back in the day, years ago, I used to go very wide. Then I worked with Dorian Yates and he told me to go a little bit more narrow, and it worked big time. Abs braced, and as soon as I stand, I'm gonna initiate into the exercise. And I'm gonna stop about there. Right, now I'm gonna row. I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna use my abs and I'm gonna stabilize big feet and drive into my belly button. All right, so we've just done back. I like now to train my legs more frequently throughout the week due to getting older, right? So what I do on back day is I'll finish and end with 1 hamstring exercise, sometimes 2, depends on my energy levels. So this is me now, bum in the air, curling. Do that all day long. Give me more weight here. Here's another cue one of my mentors told me, or taught me. What you do, right, we understand the importance of driving hip forward, hip extension. So we understand that. Number two, importantly, is I'm gonna hold, see this little curve in the bench here? Some gyms might have it further down, but the point is I'm gonna shove my hands into this crease. See that crease there? I'm gonna shove down into the crease. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shove down with my hands. Look, I'm up. And I curl. Now that is way harder. Okay, governors, for more tips and tricks, follow this page to get more out of your movements, to squeeze all the juice out of the exercise, so that way you can 10x the exercise and get more out of it and get more muscle activation.